92% of people who announce their goals publicly never achieve them. And there's a neuroscientific reason why. Right now, millions of people are posting their plans on social media. They're telling their friends about the business they're going to start. They're announcing the weight they're going to lose. They're sharing the promotion they're chasing. And here's what happens next. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You clicked on this audiobook for a reason. Maybe you've been that person. Maybe you've announced a goal, felt amazing for about 48 hours, and then watched your motivation disappear like smoke. You're not weak. You're not lazy. You've just been playing the game wrong. And in the next few hours, everything changes. This is not another motivational lecture. This is a strategic blueprint that the top 1% use but never talk about. Because here's the truth they won't tell you. The most powerful move you'll ever make is the one nobody sees coming. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed that the loudest people in the room rarely deliver the biggest results? They talk about their hustle. They post their morning routines. They share every small win like it's a championship trophy. But 12 months later, they're still talking about the same goals. Meanwhile, someone quiet in the corner has already built what the loud ones are still dreaming about. That's not coincidence. That's strategy. A 2009 study published in Psychological Science by Professor Peter Gollwitzer at New York University revealed something disturbing. When you announce your goals, your brain registers a premature sense of completeness. You get a dopamine hit, the same chemical released when you actually achieve something just from talking about it. Your brain literally tricks you into feeling like you've already done the work. So your motivation drops, your urgency fades, and your goal dies in the announcement. This is the trap, and almost everyone falls into it. Think about the last time you told someone about a big plan. Remember that rush? That feeling of excitement when they nodded, looked impressed, maybe even congratulated you? That feeling was your reward. Except you hadn't earned it yet. You got paid before you did the job. And once you're paid, why would you work? Now let's pause here, because this is where everything shifts. The average person treats goals like social currency. They trade their plans for attention. They exchange their ambitions for likes, comments, and approval. Every announcement is a transaction. And in that transaction, they're selling their future success for a moment of validation today. But the elite operate differently. The top performers, the people who actually build empires, transform their bodies, and create lasting change, they understand something critical. Silence is not passive. Silence is a weapon. When you stay silent about your goals, you create pressure, internal pressure. That pressure doesn't leak out through conversations or social media posts. It builds. It compounds. It becomes the energy that fuels execution. This is the silent advantage. Here's a concept that will change how you operate. Think of your goals like steam in a pressure cooker. Every time you open the lid to show someone what's inside, steam escapes. That steam is your energy, your drive, your momentum. Open the lid too many times, and there's nothing left to cook the meal. But keep that lid sealed. The pressure builds until it powers everything. The world's most successful people figured this out early. Jeff Bezos built Amazon in a garage for years before anyone took him seriously. He didn't need applause to keep going. Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx, didn't tell a single person about her idea for 2 full years. Not her friends, not her family. She protected her vision like a secret because she knew that other people's doubts could kill it before it had a chance to breathe. This isn't paranoia. This is precision. Let me show you the difference in real terms. The average person wakes up with a goal. By noon, they've told 3 people. By evening, they've posted about it. They feel productive. They feel committed. But they haven't done a single thing that actually moves them forward. They've performed progress instead of producing it. The elite wake up with a goal. They tell no one. They spend the hours that others spend talking actually working. They don't need external validation because they're building internal self-respect. Every silent rep, every quiet hour, every undocumented win, it stacks. And when they finally reveal what they've built, it's undeniable. It speaks for itself. Results are the only announcement that matters. Here's what you're going to learn in this audiobook. You're going to understand exactly why your brain sabotages you when you talk too much. You're going to discover the energy leak that's been draining your execution power for years. You're going to learn how to break free from the addiction to validation that keeps most people stuck. And you're going to walk away with a concrete system, the silent execution code, that you can start using today. This isn't theory. This is a tactical shift that will change how you operate in your career, your health, your relationships, and your life. But here's the catch. This only works if you're willing to be uncomfortable. Silence is not easy. In a world that rewards noise, staying quiet feels like falling behind. Your ego will fight you. Your need for recognition will scream at you. You'll watch others get attention for goals they'll never achieve while you grind in the dark. And that's exactly where the magic happens. The next chapter is going to break down the neuroscience behind the dopamine trap. You'll see exactly what happens in your brain when you announce a goal, and why that single moment of excitement is actually the beginning of your failure. Once you understand the mechanism, you'll never fall for it again. Work in silence. Let your results make the noise. Let's continue. Chapter 2. The Dopamine Trap. Your brain is lying to you, and it's been doing it your entire life. Every time you announce a goal, something happens inside your skull that you can't see, can't feel, but absolutely controls your behavior. A chemical gets released. A reward circuit fires. And in that single moment, your chances of success drop dramatically. This is the dopamine trap, and until you understand how it works, you'll keep falling into it. Let's get specific. Dopamine is not a pleasure chemical. That's the popular myth. Dopamine is an anticipation chemical. It's released when your brain expects a reward, not when you receive one. This distinction matters more than you realize. Because when you tell someone about your goal, when you see their eyes light up, when they say that's amazing or you've got this, your brain interprets that social approval as the reward itself. You haven't done anything yet, but your brain thinks you have. This is not opinion. This is neuroscience. In 2009, researchers at New York University conducted a series of experiments that should have changed how everyone approaches goal setting. They found that when people announced their intentions, they experienced what's called social reality. The goal felt real. It felt accomplished. And because it felt accomplished, the drive to actually accomplish it decreased. Read that again. The announcement created the illusion of progress. The illusion killed the motivation. The motivation was the only thing that could produce real progress. This is a loop, and most people are stuck in it without knowing. Here's how it plays out in real life. Monday morning, you decide you're going to wake up at 5 a.m. every day. You're excited. You tell your spouse. You text your best friend. You post something subtle on Instagram, maybe a picture of a sunrise with a caption about new chapter. People respond. They support you. You feel accountable. You feel motivated. Tuesday, you hit snooze. By Friday, you're back to your old schedule. By next month, you're announcing a different goal. And the cycle repeats. Year after year, goal after goal, announcement after announcement. Nothing changes. But wait. Here's where it gets worse. The dopamine trap doesn't just steal your motivation once. It trains your brain to seek the wrong reward. Every time you get validation for announcing, your brain learns talking equals pleasure. So you talk more. You announce more. You become addicted to the declaration, not the execution. You become a professional planner who never builds anything. Let me show you the contrast. The average person sets a goal on January 1st. By January 3rd, they've told everyone. By January 15th, they've lost momentum. By February, they've forgotten the goal entirely. But they remember the feeling of announcing it. That feeling was real. So next year, they do it again. Same cycle, same result, same nothing. The elite set a goal on January 1st. They tell no one. They feel the discomfort of holding it inside. That discomfort becomes fuel. By January 15th, they've built habits while others are still talking. By February, they've created real progress. By December, they've achieved what the announcers are still dreaming about. The difference is not discipline. The difference is where the dopamine comes from. Average performers get dopamine from announcing. Elite performers get dopamine from completing. One is fake. One is earned. One leads nowhere. One builds everything. Now, I need you to understand something critical about your brain. It doesn't distinguish between real achievement and perceived achievement. When you get praised for a goal you haven't accomplished, your brain processes it the same way it would process actual success. The neural pathways fire, the reward centers activate, and your brain says, "We did it. We can relax now." This is why so many talented people underperform. They're not lazy. They're neurologically hijacked. Stanford University's psychology department conducted research on what they call identity-based motivation. Here's what they found. When someone publicly commits to a goal, that goal becomes part of their identity before they've earned it. They start seeing themselves as someone who wakes up early or someone who's building a business, even though they've done nothing to deserve that identity. And once your brain believes you already are something, the urgency to become it disappears. This is the second layer of the trap. First, you get the fake reward. Then, you get the fake identity. Now you're twice removed from reality. You feel successful. You see yourself as successful, but you haven't succeeded at anything. Let's pause here and get practical. I'm not telling you that accountability doesn't work. I'm not saying you should isolate yourself completely. What I'm saying is this. There's a difference between strategic accountability and dopamine leakage. Strategic accountability is telling one trusted person who will check your actions, not praise your intentions. Dopamine leakage is broadcasting your goals to anyone who will listen because you're addicted to the reaction. One serves your progress, the other sabotages it. Here's a test. Before you tell anyone about a goal, ask yourself, am I sharing this to get support for the work, or am I sharing this to feel good right now? If it's the second one, stop. That urge to share is the trap calling. That urge is your brain seeking the easy reward instead of the earned one. The elite have learned to sit with that urge. They feel it, they recognize it, and they don't act on it. They understand that every time they resist the announcement, they're storing energy. They're building pressure. They're protecting the very motivation that will carry them through when things get hard. Because things will get hard. Goals worth achieving always involve difficulty. And when the difficulty hits, you need fuel. If you've already spent that fuel on announcements and validation, you'll have nothing left. You'll quit, and you'll convince yourself that the goal wasn't right for you, when the truth is you just burned your resources before the journey started. Here's what I want you to remember from this chapter. Dopamine is not your enemy. It's your fuel. But fuel can be wasted or it can be used. Every announcement is a leak. Every public declaration is steam escaping from your pressure cooker. The goal is not to eliminate dopamine. The goal is to earn it through action, not words. In the next chapter, we're going deeper. We're going to examine the energy leak, how explaining your plans doesn't just affect your brain chemistry, but drains the actual mental energy you need to execute. You'll discover why some people feel exhausted after a single conversation about their goals, and how to protect your execution power from well-meaning friends and family. The trap is set everywhere, but now you see it. Work in silence. Let your results make the noise. Chapter 3: The Energy Leak. Every explanation costs you, and you've been paying a price you didn't even know existed. There's something happening every time you sit down to describe your plans to someone. Something invisible but devastating. While your mouth is moving, while you're painting the picture of what you're going to build, a transfer is taking place. Energy is leaving your body, not metaphorical energy. Real, measurable cognitive resources that you will never get back for that day. This is the energy leak, and it's silently destroying more dreams than failure ever could. Let me explain what's actually happening in your brain when you talk about your goals. Cognitive science calls it ego depletion. Your brain has a limited amount of executive function available each day. Executive function is what you use for decision-making, self-control, creative thinking, and complex planning. It's not unlimited. It's a resource. And every time you engage in a demanding mental task, including explaining and justifying your plans, you spend some of that resource. Here's the problem. Talking about your goals is mentally expensive. You have to organize your thoughts. You have to anticipate questions. You have to frame things in a way that sounds impressive. You have to manage the other person's reactions. You have to defend against doubt. You have to project confidence even when you're uncertain. All of this requires executive function. All of this drains the tank. By the time you finish a 30-minute conversation about what you're going to do, you've used cognitive resources that could have gone toward actually doing it. This is not abstract theory. Research from Case Western Reserve University demonstrated that participants who had to explain and justify their choices showed significantly reduced performance on subsequent tasks requiring self-control and focus. The explanation itself was depleting. The justification was exhausting, and they didn't even realize it was happening. Now multiply this across your life. Think about how many times you explain your goals in a given week. Your morning coffee conversation with your spouse, the lunch chat with a colleague, the phone call with your parents, the text exchange with your friend, the social media comments where you elaborate on your vision. Each one feels harmless. Each one feels like connection, but each one is a withdrawal from a limited account. And here's what makes it worse. When you explain your plans to people who don't fully understand them, you burn even more energy. Because now you're not just explaining, you're translating. You're simplifying. You're fighting against their mental models to implant yours. You're convincing people who may never be convinced. That's exhausting work that produces zero progress. The average person spends more energy describing their goals than pursuing them. They spend hours in explanation mode, crafting narratives, handling objections, seeking buy-in, and then wonder why they're too tired to execute. They blame their schedule. They blame their circumstances. But the real culprit is the leak. Elite performers plug the leak. They understand that every conversation about their goals is an expense. So they're strategic. They're selective. They treat their plans like classified information, not because they're paranoid, but because they're protective. They know that energy saved is energy available, and energy available is progress possible. Here's a pattern I want you to recognize. Pay attention to how you feel after talking extensively about your goals. Not during, after. There's often a subtle exhaustion, a slight emptiness. You might feel relieved that you shared, but underneath that relief is depletion. The tank is lower than before, and you might not connect the dots. You might just think you're tired, but that tiredness has a cause. The leak isn't just cognitive. It's emotional too. When you share your plans, you invite feedback. Sometimes that feedback is positive, which creates the dopamine trap we discussed. But often, that feedback is mixed. People question your approach. They share their doubts. They play devil's advocate. They tell you about someone who tried the same thing and failed. They don't mean harm. They think they're helping. But every objection you absorb requires emotional processing. Now you're not just spending cognitive energy. You're spending emotional energy defending your vision against people who didn't ask to evaluate it. A study from the University of Pennsylvania found that emotional labor, the effort required to manage feelings during social interactions, draws from the same limited pool as cognitive tasks. So when you're managing someone's skepticism about your business idea, or navigating a friend's subtle jealousy about your fitness goals, you're depleting the exact resources you need to make those goals real. This is the double leak. Mental and emotional. Both draining, both invisible, both preventable. Let me show you how this plays out differently for different people. The average person has a goal to write a book. They tell their family at dinner. They explain the concept. They defend why it's different from other books. They absorb their brother's comment that most books don't sell. They leave dinner feeling uncertain, but tell themselves it was good to share. The next morning, they sit down to write. They feel resistance. They don't know why. They push through for 20 minutes and then stop. They think they lack discipline. They don't lack discipline. They lack energy. They spend it at dinner. The elite writer has the same goal. They don't mention it at dinner. They talk about other things. They absorb no doubts because they invited no evaluation. The next morning, they sit down to write with a full tank. The words come easier. The resistance is lower. They write for 90 minutes. The chapter takes shape. No one knows. No one needs to know. Same goal. Same person. Different energy management. Different outcome. Here's the principle. Every time you open your mouth about your plans, ask yourself, is this conversation going to give me energy or take it? Some conversations do add fuel. A mentor who's walked the path. A partner who genuinely supports without questioning. A mastermind of peers chasing similar goals. These are energy-positive exchanges, but they're rare. Most conversations are leaks disguised as connection. Protecting your energy is not antisocial. It's strategic. It's the recognition that you have a finite capacity each day, and how you allocate that capacity determines what gets built. The leak is optional. You can close at any time. In the next chapter, we're going to explore something counterintuitive: the solitude advantage. You're going to learn why real growth happens when nobody is watching and nobody is clapping. You're going to discover that isolation isn't loneliness, it's leverage. And you're going to see why the most transformative work of your life will happen in rooms where you're the only one present. The energy is yours. Stop giving it away for free. Work in silence. Let your results make the noise. Chapter 4: The Solitude Advantage. The most important work of your life will happen when nobody is watching. Not on stage, not in meetings, not in front of cameras or crowds or comment sections. The real transformation, the kind that changes everything, happens in empty rooms, early mornings, and late nights where the only witness is you. This is the solitude advantage. And most people will never access it because they're terrified of being alone with themselves. Let me be direct with you. Solitude is not loneliness. Loneliness is the pain of being disconnected. Solitude is the power of being undistracted. One is something that happens to you. The other is something you choose. And that choice is the difference between people who dream and people who build. Here's what happens when you work in solitude. Your brain enters a different mode. Without the pressure of being observed, without the need to perform or explain, your mind relaxes into a state that psychologists call flow. Dr. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi at the University of Chicago spent decades studying peak performance, and his research revealed something crucial: flow states. Those periods of deep, effortless focus almost always occur in private. The presence of others disrupts the delicate conditions required for your best work. When someone is watching, part of your brain is always monitoring their reaction. How do they perceive you? Are you impressive? Are you doing it right? This background process consumes mental bandwidth. It fragments your attention. It pulls you out of depth and keeps you at the surface. But alone? Alone, you can sink. Think about the last time you were truly absorbed in something. Not checking your phone, not anticipating interruption, not performing productivity for an audience. Fully immersed. That state is rare because it requires something most people avoid: extended, unwitnessed effort. It requires being okay with the fact that no one will clap, no one will validate, no one will even know. This is where the average person breaks. They can't tolerate the silence. They reach for their phone. They text someone about what they're doing. They need proof that their effort matters. They need external confirmation that they're on the right track. And in reaching for that confirmation, they shatter the very state that produces exceptional work. The elite don't reach. They stay in the cave. Let me show you the difference. The average person works on a project at home. After 45 minutes, they feel restless. They snap a picture of their workspace. They post something about grinding. They check for likes. They lose 15 minutes. They return to work, but the depth is gone. They push through another 30 minutes at surface level. They call it a productive session. The elite work on the same project. After 45 minutes, they feel the same restlessness. But they recognize it. They've trained for it. They don't reach for the phone. They breathe through the discomfort. They push past the urge. And somewhere around minute 60, something shifts. The resistance fades. The depth appears. They enter a state the average person never touches because the average person always interrupts themselves before arrival. Flow doesn't come immediately. You have to survive the discomfort to reach it. Dr. Anders Ericsson at Florida State University studied world-class performers across multiple domains: musicians, athletes, chess players, surgeons. His research on deliberate practice found a consistent pattern. Elite performers accumulated thousands of hours of focused, solitary work. Not group work, not collaborative brainstorming. Alone, with feedback loops built into their practice. The solitude wasn't incidental. It was essential. Here's why. When you practice alone, you can focus on your weaknesses without embarrassment. You can fail without judgment. You can experiment without explanation. You can move at your own pace, drilling the fundamentals that bore others, but separate good from great. The solitude creates a laboratory where growth is possible because ego is absent. Now, I'm not saying collaboration has no value. Teams matter. Partnerships matter, but there's a critical distinction. Collaboration is for combining strengths. Solitude is for building them. You can't combine what you haven't developed, and development happens in private. This is the part most people misunderstand. They think success is built in the spotlight. They see the TED Talk, the podcast interview, the awards ceremony. They see the public moment. What they don't see is the 10 years of invisible work that made that moment possible. They don't see the 5 a.m. sessions with no audience. They don't see the weekends spent in quiet refinement. They don't see the solitude. The spotlight reveals. The solitude builds. Here's something else solitude gives you: clarity. When you're constantly surrounded by input, other people's opinions, other people's reactions, other people's noise, your own signal gets drowned out. You lose touch with what you actually think. You lose touch with what you actually want. You start optimizing for approval instead of truth. But in solitude, the external noise fades. And in that silence, you can finally hear yourself. You can assess honestly. You can plan clearly. You can make decisions based on your values, not your audience. This clarity is a competitive advantage that can't be bought. It can only be earned through time alone. I want you to understand the relationship between solitude and self-trust. Every hour you spend in unwitnessed effort is a deposit in your confidence account. You're proving to yourself that you can work without applause. You're proving that your commitment isn't dependent on recognition. That proof accumulates. And over time, it creates an unshakable foundation. The average person's confidence is built on external feedback. Someone praises them, they feel capable. Someone criticizes them, they crumble. Their sense of self fluctuates with every comment. But the person who has logged thousands of solitary hours, their confidence comes from within. They know what they've built. They know what they've survived. They know what they're capable of, not because someone told them, but because they witnessed themselves do it. This is the solitude advantage at its deepest level. It's not just about productivity. It's about identity. It's about becoming someone who doesn't need the crowd. Let me leave you with a question. How much of your work is witnessed? How much is performed? And how much happens in total privacy, with no possibility of recognition? If most of your effort requires an audience, you've identified the leak. You've identified why progress feels slow. You've identified why your potential remains untapped. The cure is simple, but not easy. Schedule solitude. Protect it. Treat it as sacred. Make appointments with yourself that you refuse to break. And in those hours, do the work that no one sees. Not because it's romantic, because it's effective. In the next chapter, we're going to confront the real enemy: validation addiction. You're going to understand why your brain craves approval like a drug, and how that craving has been hijacking your potential since childhood. More importantly, you're going to learn how to break free, not by fighting the craving, but by replacing it with something stronger. The cave is calling. Your best work is waiting there. Work in silence. Let your results make the noise. Chapter 5: The Validation Addiction. You are addicted to approval, and that addiction is running your life. This isn't an insult. It's a diagnosis. And until you accept it, you'll keep wondering why your goals collapse, why your motivation fades, and why you feel empty even when people are praising you. The validation addiction is the silent disease of high performers. It hides behind ambition. It disguises itself as drive. But underneath, it's a dependency that keeps you chained to other people's opinions. Let me show you how deep this goes. From the moment you were born, you were trained to seek approval. Your parents smiled when you did something right. Your teachers gave gold stars for correct answers. Your peers included you when you conformed. Your brain learned a simple equation: approval equals safety. Disapproval equals danger. This programming was useful when you were a child. It helped you navigate social structures and stay protected. But you're not a child anymore. And that same programming is now sabotaging your potential. Here's what happens neurologically. When you receive validation, a like, a compliment, a nod of approval, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical involved in drug addiction, the same reward pathway. And just like any addiction, tolerance builds. What satisfied you last year doesn't satisfy you this year. You need more likes, more praise, more recognition. The dose keeps increasing, but the high keeps fading. This is not weakness. This is biology exploited by environment. Social media has weaponized your validation circuits. Every platform is engineered to trigger approval-seeking behavior. Post something, wait for response, check notifications, feel the hit. Repeat. The average person checks their phone 200 times per day. Most of those checks are validation checks. Did anyone respond? Did anyone notice? Does anyone care? Dr. Anna Lemke at Stanford University School of Medicine studies addiction, and her research reveals something disturbing. The dopamine pathways activated by social media validation are virtually identical to those activated by cocaine. Not similar, identical. Your brain cannot distinguish between a like on your post and a hit of a drug. Both trigger the same reward. Both create the same dependency. And here's the trap. When your sense of worth becomes tied to external validation, you stop owning your life. You start renting it from other people. Every decision gets filtered through a question. What will they think? Every goal gets evaluated by a metric. Will this earn approval? You're no longer building your future. You're performing for an audience that doesn't care about your well-being. The average person is a validation puppet. They don't realize it because the strings are invisible. They think they're making independent choices, but every choice is contaminated by approval seeking. They pick careers that impress others. They chase goals that photograph well. They abandon pursuits that don't generate recognition, even when those pursuits would make them happy. Their entire life becomes a performance. The elite cut the strings. Let me show you the difference. The average person starts a fitness journey. They post day one. They post week one. They post every milestone. They're not exercising for health. They're exercising for content. And when the likes slow down, because they always slow down, the motivation dies. The gym visits stop. The journey ends. Not because the body failed, but because the audience lost interest. The elite start the same journey. They tell no one. They post nothing. They show up at 5 a.m. to an empty gym. They track progress in a private notebook. No one claps. No one comments. And 6 months later, people notice the transformation. They ask what happened. The elite smile and say nothing. Because the validation came at the right time, after the work, not before it. This is the sequence that matters. Work first, recognition after, never the reverse. Here's something most people won't tell you about validation addiction. It doesn't just affect your productivity. It affects your identity. When you depend on external approval, you never develop a stable sense of self. You become a mirror, reflecting whatever gets the best reaction. You lose touch with your actual preferences, your actual values, your actual desires. You become a stranger to yourself. Research from the University of Houston found that individuals with high validation dependency showed significantly lower levels of self-concept clarity. They literally didn't know who they were outside of other people's perceptions. Their identity was crowdsourced. And crowdsourced identities collapse under pressure because there's no foundation. But when you break the addiction, something powerful happens. You start discovering who you actually are. Not who you've been performing as. Not who others expect you to be. The real you, the one buried under years of approval seeking. That person has preferences. That person has values. That person has goals that have nothing to do with what looks good on social media. Now let's talk about the withdrawal. Breaking validation addiction is uncomfortable. Like any addiction, there's a withdrawal period. You'll post something and feel the urge to check responses. You'll achieve something and feel the pull to announce it. You'll sit in silence and feel the itch to fill it with external input. This discomfort is not a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're breaking free. The discomfort is temporary. The freedom is permanent. Here's a practical framework for the withdrawal. I call it the 48-hour rule. When you achieve something, when you hit a milestone, when you have news worth sharing, wait 48 hours before telling anyone. Not forever, just 48 hours. In that window, sit with the achievement. Feel the internal satisfaction. Let the reward come from within. You'll discover something surprising. After 48 hours, the urge to share often fades. The achievement becomes yours. Truly yours. Not diluted by external reaction. The elite practice this instinctively. They've learned that immediate sharing diminishes the experience. They've learned that sitting with success builds self-trust. They've learned that the 48-hour pause is not deprivation, it's protection. I want you to consider something uncomfortable. How much of your goal setting has been validation-driven? How many ambitions did you adopt because they would earn approval? How many did you abandon because they didn't? This is difficult to examine. It requires honesty that most people avoid. But the examination is necessary, because you can't break an addiction you won't acknowledge. Here's the truth. Some of your goals aren't yours. They're borrowed. They're inherited. They're absorbed from people whose approval you wanted. And those goals will never fulfill you because they were never about you. They were about them. The validation addiction convinces you that you need others to feel worthy. That's the lie. Worthiness isn't granted by external sources. It's built through internal evidence, through promises you keep to yourself, through hours of unwitnessed effort, through becoming someone you respect, regardless of whether others notice. In the next chapter, we're going to build exactly that. Internal self-respect. You're going to learn how to construct an unshakable foundation that doesn't depend on likes, comments, or approval. You're going to discover the habits that create genuine confidence, the kind that can't be taken away because it was never given by others in the first place. The addiction ends when you decide it ends. Work in silence. Let your results make the noise. Chapter 6. Building internal self-respect. The only opinion that matters is the one you have of yourself at 3 a.m. when no one else is watching. That moment, when the world is asleep and you're alone with your choices, reveals everything. Do you respect the person you see? Do you trust them? Have they earned your confidence through action, or have they betrayed it through broken promises? This internal relationship is the foundation of everything, and most people have neglected it for years while chasing approval from strangers. Internal self-respect is not self-esteem. Self-esteem can be inflated by compliments and deflated by criticism. It fluctuates with external feedback. But self-respect is different. Self-respect is built on evidence. It's the accumulated proof that you are someone who does what they say they'll do, especially when no one is checking. Here's the mechanism. Every time you make a promise to yourself and keep it, you make a deposit in your self-respect account. Every time you break that promise, you make a withdrawal. Most people are bankrupt and don't know it. They've made thousands of promises to themselves. I'll wake up early. I'll exercise today. I'll finish that project, and broken most of them. Each broken promise taught their brain a lesson. Your word means nothing. And when your word means nothing to yourself, no amount of external validation can fill the void. Dr. Nathaniel Branden, often called the father of the self-esteem movement, spent 40 years studying what creates genuine confidence. His conclusion was precise. Self-respect comes from living consciously and taking responsibility for your choices. Not from affirmations, not from positive thinking, from action aligned with intention, from integrity between what you say and what you do. This is where most self-help fails. It tries to build confidence through mindset tricks. Think positive, visualize success, repeat affirmations, but your brain isn't fooled. It has a record of every promise you've made and broken. It knows when you're lying to yourself. And no amount of positive self-talk can override that evidence. The only thing that overrides it is new evidence. Let me show you how this plays out. The average person wakes up and makes internal commitments. They'll skip the snooze button. They'll work out. They'll eat clean. They'll make progress on their goals. By noon, they've broken 3 of those commitments. They barely notice. They make excuses. They tell themselves tomorrow will be different. But their brain noticed. Their brain recorded another data point. This person doesn't follow through. Multiply that by 365 days. Multiply that by 10 years. Now you understand why so many people have a confidence crisis that no external achievement can solve. They've trained their brain to distrust them. They've accumulated overwhelming evidence that they can't be relied upon. And deep down, they know it. The elite operate differently. They make fewer promises, but keep them all. They understand that every commitment is a test. Pass the test, build trust. Fail the test, erode trust. So they're strategic. They don't commit casually. When they say they'll do something, they do it. Not because it's easy, because the cost of breaking their word, the cost to their self-respect, is too high. Here's a principle that will transform your relationship with yourself. Promise small, deliver completely. The average person makes grand promises and delivers partially. The elite make modest promises and deliver fully. Over time, the elite accumulate a track record of integrity that creates unshakable confidence. The average person accumulates a track record of disappointment that creates chronic self-doubt. This isn't about perfection, it's about alignment. Research from the University of California found that individuals who maintained high levels of self-concordance, alignment between their goals and their authentic values, showed significantly higher rates of goal completion and psychological well-being. They weren't more talented. They weren't more disciplined. They were more aligned. Their promises matched who they actually were, not who they thought they should be. Here's what that means practically. Stop making promises based on who you want to impress. Start making promises based on who you actually are. If you know you're not a morning person, don't promise to wake up at 5 a.m. Promise to wake up 30 minutes earlier than usual. Keep that promise. Build from there. Small wins, consistent wins, real evidence. Let me give you a framework. I call it the integrity inventory. Once a week, review the promises you made to yourself. Not to others, to yourself. How many did you keep? How many did you break? Be honest. This isn't about judgment. It's about awareness. You can't fix what you won't face. The average person never does this inventory. They let broken promises accumulate in the background, silently eroding their self-trust. They wonder why they feel like imposters even when they succeed. The answer is simple. External success can't compensate for internal betrayal. The elite do this inventory religiously. They treat self-promises with the same seriousness as promises to others. Actually, more seriousness, because they understand that the relationship with yourself is the foundation of every other relationship. Betray yourself consistently, and you'll never fully trust anyone, including you. Now, here's something most people miss. Building internal self-respect requires protecting yourself from situations that force you to break promises. If you know you'll eat poorly when junk food is in the house, don't buy it. If you know you'll skip the gym when you stay up late, go to bed earlier. If you know you'll waste time on social media, delete the apps. This isn't weakness. This is wisdom. The elite don't rely on willpower. They rely on environment design. They set up their life so that keeping promises is easier than breaking them. They remove the friction from integrity. Here's the shift I want you to make. Stop chasing respect from others. Start earning respect from yourself. This is not selfishness. This is foundation building. Because here's the truth. People can sense self-respect. They can feel when someone has it and when someone doesn't. And paradoxically, the less you chase external respect, the more you attract it. People respect those who respect themselves. It's a signal that can't be faked. Think about someone you truly admire. Not someone famous, someone you know personally. What is it about them? Chances are, they have a quiet confidence. They don't seek approval. They don't explain themselves constantly. They move through the world with a settled sense of who they are. That settled sense comes from internal self-respect, from years of kept promises, from a relationship with themselves built on evidence, not hope. You can become that person, but it requires a shift in priority. The average person prioritizes external perception. They manage how others see them. They curate their image. They perform competence. And underneath the performance, there's emptiness. Because they've neglected the only audience that never leaves, themselves. The elite prioritize internal evidence. They focus on building a track record they can trust. They care less about appearing impressive and more about being reliable, to themselves first. The external perception follows naturally, but it's not the goal. The goal is becoming someone they respect in the quiet moments. The goal is passing the 3 a.m. test. Here's your assignment. This week, make 3 small promises to yourself. Not grand commitments. Small ones. Maybe you'll read for 15 minutes before bed. Maybe you'll take a walk at lunch. Maybe you'll complete 1 task before checking email. Whatever they are, keep them. No exceptions. No excuses. Feel what it's like to be someone whose word matters. Let that feeling compound. In the next chapter, we're going to build your protection system, the momentum shield. You're going to learn how to defend your goals from the doubters, the skeptics, and the well-meaning people who will try to pour cold water on your fire. Your internal self-respect is the foundation. The shield is what keeps it intact. Earn your own respect first. Everything else follows. Work in silence. Let your results make the noise. Chapter 7. The Momentum Shield. Other people's doubts are contagious, and you've been infected your entire life. Every time someone questioned your goal, a small piece of your certainty died. Every raised eyebrow, every skeptical comment, every "are you sure about that?" each one planted a seed of hesitation. You may not have noticed it happening, but somewhere in your mind, a graveyard exists filled with ambitions that other people killed before you had a chance to build them. This is why you need a momentum shield. Not because people are evil, not because they want you to fail, but because human beings unconsciously project their limitations onto others. And without protection, those projections become your reality. Let me explain what's actually happening when someone doubts your goal. When you share an ambition with another person, their brain immediately runs a simulation. Can I do this? Have I done this? Do I know anyone who has done this? If the answer is no, their brain registers threat. Not threat to you, threat to their worldview. Your ambition challenges their beliefs about what's possible. And the easiest way to resolve that threat is to diminish your goal, to find holes in it, to protect themselves by discouraging you. This isn't malice. This is psychology. Research from Harvard Business School examined how people respond to others' ambitious goals. The findings were revealing. Individuals with fixed mindsets, those who believe abilities are static, were significantly more likely to discourage ambitious goal setting in others. They weren't trying to harm. They were trying to protect. But protection based on limited beliefs is just limitation with better intentions. Here's the danger. Doubt is sticky. When someone plants it, your brain holds on to it. You might dismiss their skepticism consciously, but unconsciously it lingers. It shows up as hesitation when you should act. It shows up as second-guessing when you should commit. It shows up as a quiet voice asking, "What if they're right?" at the exact moment you need certainty. The average person has no defense against this. They share openly. They absorb freely. They let every opinion enter without filtration. And then they wonder why their momentum keeps stalling. Why they start strong but fade. Why other people's voices are louder than their own. The elite build shields. They understand that not all input is equal. They curate ruthlessly. They protect their mental environment with the same intensity they protect their physical safety. Because they know, what enters your mind shapes your reality. Let me show you the 3 layers of the momentum shield. Layer 1, the information diet. Most people consume information indiscriminately. They scroll through social media absorbing whatever the algorithm serves. They watch news that amplifies anxiety. They read comments from strangers who have accomplished nothing. This is mental pollution. And just like physical pollution, it accumulates and causes damage. The elite practice strict information hygiene. They ask one question before consuming anything. Does this move me toward my goal or away from it? If the answer is away, or even neutral, they don't consume it. Not because they're closed-minded, because they're protective. They understand that attention is the most valuable resource they have, and they refuse to waste it on input that doesn't serve their mission. Dr. Herbert Simon, Nobel laureate in economics, identified this decades ago. He called it attention scarcity. In a world of infinite information, attention becomes the bottleneck. Those who manage their attention strategically outperform those who let it scatter. The information diet isn't deprivation, it's optimization. Layer 2, the social filter. Not everyone in your life deserves access to your goals. This is hard to accept because it feels exclusive. It feels like you're hiding. But remember, hiding your plans is not deception. It's protection. And some people have proven, through pattern, not through single incidents, that they cannot hold your ambitions without damaging them. Here's a framework. Categorize the people in your life into 3 groups. Group 1, accelerators. These are people who have either achieved what you're pursuing or have a track record of supporting ambitious goals without projection. They get full access. Group 2, neutrals. These are people who neither help nor hurt. They're fine for social connection, but not for goal discussion. They get 0 access to your ambitions. Group 3, anchors. These are people who consistently doubt, discourage, or diminish. They don't just get 0 access, they get distance. The average person treats all relationships equally when it comes to sharing goals. They tell their anchor friends the same things they tell their accelerator mentors. Then they're confused when their motivation fluctuates wildly based on who they talk to last. The elites segment ruthlessly. They understand that access to their vision is a privilege, not a right. Layer 3, the response protocol. Even with an information diet and social filter, doubt will still reach you. Someone will make a comment. Something will trigger uncertainty. You need a protocol for when this happens, a systematic response that prevents doubt from taking root. Here's the protocol. When doubt enters, do not engage with it immediately. Do not argue with it. Do not try to resolve it. Instead, write it down. Get it out of your head and onto paper. Then ask 3 questions. First, does this person have relevant experience or success in what I'm attempting? If no, their doubt is projection, not insight. Second, is this doubt based on evidence or emotion? Most doubt is emotional, fear disguised as logic. Third, would I trade my results for their results? If someone who hasn't built what you're building is telling you it can't be built, their opinion is worthless. This protocol creates distance between you and the doubt. It moves you from emotional reaction to rational evaluation. And most of the time, the evaluation reveals that the doubt says more about the doubter than about your goal. Research from the University of Pennsylvania studied resilience in entrepreneurs facing repeated rejection. The most successful entrepreneurs shared a common trait. They had systematic methods for processing negative feedback without internalizing it. They didn't ignore feedback. They filtered it. They extracted useful signal and discarded emotional noise. The shield wasn't about denial. It was about discernment. Here's a truth most people avoid. You will outgrow some relationships when you commit to growth. Not because you become arrogant, because proximity requires compatibility. If someone's entire identity is built on staying comfortable, your pursuit of discomfort threatens them. They may not consciously try to hold you back, but their energy, their questions, their subtle discouragement, it creates friction, and friction slows momentum. The elite accept this cost. They understand that protecting their trajectory sometimes means creating distance from people who can't support it. This isn't cruelty. This is clarity. You cannot carry everyone into your future, and the people who belong there will celebrate your growth, not resist it. Let me give you a practical application. Before you share any goal with anyone, pause and ask, what is the likely outcome of this conversation? Will I leave with more energy or less? More clarity or more confusion? More commitment or more doubt? If the honest answer is negative, don't have the conversation. Protect your momentum. That goal deserves a shield, not a leak. In the next chapter, we're going to build your operational system, the silent execution code. 3 rules that govern how you pursue goals without announcement, without validation seeking, and without the leaks that have sabotaged you before. You've built the foundation. You've understood the psychology. Now it's time to systematize the silence. Your momentum is sacred. Guard it accordingly. Work in silence. Let your results make the noise. Chapter 8. The Silent Execution Code. Everything you've learned so far has been preparation. This chapter is the weapon. The Silent Execution Code is not a philosophy. It's an operating system. 3 rules that govern how you pursue any goal without the leaks, without the validation traps, and without the momentum killers that have sabotaged you before. These rules are simple to understand and difficult to follow. But if you follow them, you will become dangerous. Not dangerous to others. Dangerous to mediocrity. Let me give you the code. Rule 1. The 72-hour silence rule. When you set a goal, commit to telling no one for 72 hours. Not your spouse. Not your best friend. Not your social media followers. No one. For 3 full days. The goal exists only in your mind and your actions. Here's why this works. The first 72 hours are when the dopamine trap is strongest. The urge to announce is loudest. Your brain is desperate for the easy reward of social validation. If you can survive this window without leaking, you've passed the first test. You've proven to yourself that the goal matters more than the recognition. And that proof becomes fuel. But there's a deeper mechanism. In those 72 hours of silence, something shifts. The goal moves from fantasy to reality. You start taking action because you have no other outlet. You can't talk about it, so you do it. The energy that would have escaped through announcement gets redirected into execution. By day 3, you've built momentum that talking would have stolen. Research from the University of Chicago on implementation intentions found that the gap between setting a goal and taking first action is the most critical predictor of success. The shorter that gap, the higher the completion rate. The 72-hour silence rule compresses that gap. You can't wait to act because action is your only expression. The average person sets a goal and immediately seeks witnesses. They want accountability, they say. They want support. But what they really want is the dopamine hit of announcement. By the time they've finished their announcement tour, the energy is gone. They've talked themselves out of doing. The elite set a goal and disappear into action. They resurface 72 hours later with progress already made. The goal is no longer theoretical. It's underway. And goals underway have survival rates that goals announced cannot match. Rule 2, the one-person vault. After the 72-hour window, you're allowed to tell exactly one person. Not two, not a small group. One. And that person must meet strict criteria. The criteria are non-negotiable. First, they must have either achieved what you're pursuing or demonstrated consistent support for ambitious goals without projection. Second, they must be willing to check your actions, not praise your intentions. Third, they must be capable of keeping your goal confidential. If they fail any of these tests, they don't qualify. This one person becomes your vault. They hold the goal with you, not to give you validation, to give you accountability. There's a critical difference. Validation says, "That's amazing, you're going to do great." Accountability says, "Did you do what you said you would do?" One feels good. One produces results. A study published in the American Journal of Lifestyle Medicine examined accountability structures and goal completion. Participants who had a single, committed accountability partner showed 65% higher completion rates than those who announced to multiple people. The diffusion of responsibility that comes with public announcement actually decreased follow-through. But concentrated accountability, one person, one relationship, created pressure that produced results. Here's why one person works better than many. When you tell multiple people, you get multiple reactions. Some positive, some negative, all distracting. You spend mental energy managing perceptions instead of managing progress. But one carefully chosen person simplifies everything. One relationship to maintain. One source of accountability. One vault that holds your goals safely. The average person sprays their goals across their social network. They get scattered feedback that pulls them in different directions. They feel accountable to everyone and therefore accountable to no one. The elite concentrate. One person, one vault. Complete focus. Rule 3. Results only revelation. You don't announce progress. You don't share milestones. You don't update anyone on how it's going. The only thing you reveal is completion. Finished. Done. Achieved. This rule is the hardest because it requires sustained discipline. The urge to share progress is almost as strong as the urge to share intentions. You hit a milestone, you want recognition. You have a breakthrough, you want to tell someone. But every progress update is a mini announcement. And every mini announcement triggers the same dopamine trap, just at smaller scale. Results only revelation means you hold everything until there's something undeniable to show. Not, "I'm working on a book." Instead, "Here's my book." Not, "I'm training for a marathon." Instead, "I finished the marathon." Not, "I'm building a business." Instead, "Here's my business." Dr. Gabrielle Eddingen at New York University developed a framework called mental contrasting. Her research showed that people who fantasized openly about future success showed decreased energy and effort toward achieving it. The fantasy substituted for the reality. But people who kept their vision private and focused on obstacles showed increased motivation and higher achievement rates. The silence preserved the drive. Here's what results only revelation does to your psychology. It trains your brain to associate reward with completion, not intention. Over time, your dopamine system rewires. You stop getting hits from talking and start getting hits from finishing. This is a fundamental shift. You become someone who is motivated by endings, not beginnings. And people who are motivated by endings build things that last. The average person is addicted to beginnings. They love the excitement of starting. They love announcing new chapters. But they rarely finish because finishing doesn't give them the same rush that starting does. Their reward system is miscalibrated. They've trained themselves to seek novelty instead of completion. The elite are addicted to finishing. They've trained their brains through results-only revelation to crave the satisfaction of done. Starting feels incomplete to them. Progress feels incomplete. Only completion triggers the full reward. And that's why they finish what the average person abandons. Let me give you the code in summary. 72 hours of total silence after setting any goal. One carefully chosen vault for accountability, not validation. Results-only revelation. Nothing public until completion. 3 rules. No exceptions. Now, here's the implementation challenge. Your entire social environment is designed to make you break these rules. Social media rewards announcement. Friends expect updates. Family asks questions. The pressure to leak is constant and comes from every direction. Following the code requires swimming against the current. But here's what I want you to understand. The current is where average lives. The current is where goals go to die. The current is comfortable and familiar and leads absolutely nowhere. The code pulls you out of that current. It creates friction with the environment because the environment is optimized for mediocrity. That friction is the price of results. In the next chapter, we're going to focus on the final piece, building a results-only life. You're going to learn how to let your outcomes speak, how to create habits that compound in silence, and how to become someone whose life makes the statement that words never could. The code gives you the rules. The next chapter shows you how to live them. Memorize the code. Apply the code. Become the code. Work in silence. Let your results make the noise. Chapter 9. Results only. Words are forgotten. Results are remembered. Think about the people who have influenced your life the most. Not the ones who talked a good game. The ones who showed you what was possible through what they built, what they achieved, what they became. Their actions spoke so loudly that their words became irrelevant. That's the standard. That's what you're building toward. A life where your outcomes make the only statement that matters. This chapter is about becoming undeniable. Not through announcement, not through persuasion, through evidence so overwhelming that no explanation is required. Here's the truth about results. They have weight that words can never carry. When you tell someone you're going to lose 50 pounds, they smile politely and think we'll see. When you show up 50 pounds lighter, they have no choice but to believe. When you announce you're starting a business, they nod with skepticism. When you hand them your product, skepticism becomes impossible. Results don't ask for belief. Results command it. The average person tries to convince through communication. They explain their vision. They defend their approach. They argue for their potential. And in all that explaining, defending, and arguing, they burn energy that could have gone toward creating proof. They're lawyers arguing a case with no evidence. The jury never convicts. The elite skip the argument entirely. They build the evidence first. Then they present it without commentary. Here's what I did. Here's what it produced. The evidence speaks. The case closes itself. Dr. Robert Cialdini at Arizona State University studied influence for over 30 years. His research identified a principle called social proof, the tendency for people to follow the actions of others, especially when those actions produce visible results. But here's what most people miss about social proof. It only works when there's actual proof. Talking about what you're going to do creates no social proof. Demonstrating what you've done creates undeniable proof that influences without effort. This is the results-only advantage. You stop trying to influence through words and start influencing through evidence. Let me show you how this works practically. The average person wants a promotion. They schedule meetings with their boss to discuss their ambitions. They explain why they deserve more responsibility. They talk about their potential. The boss listens, nods, and nothing changes. Because the boss has heard this before, from dozens of people. Words are cheap. Everyone has them. The elite want the same promotion. They don't schedule meetings. They identify the problems their boss cares about and solve them. They take on projects no one else wants. They produce outcomes that are impossible to ignore. 6 months later, the the boss comes to them. Not because of what they said, because of what they did. The promotion isn't requested. It's offered. Same goal, different strategy. One talks, one produces, one hopes for recognition, one earns it. Now, here's where most people fail with results-only living. They understand the concept but lack the system. They try to produce results through willpower alone. And willpower is a depleting resource. You can't will your way to consistency. You need habits. Habits are the infrastructure of results. They're the daily actions that compound over time into outcomes that speak for themselves. Without habits, you're relying on motivation. And motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. But habits persist regardless of how you feel. They turn results from an occasional achievement into an inevitable output. James Clear, author and researcher on habit formation, synthesized decades of behavioral science into a key insight. Outcomes are the lagging measure of habits. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. If your systems are solid, results follow automatically. If your systems are weak, no amount of goal setting saves you. Here's what that means for silent execution. Your job is not to pursue results directly. Your job is to build the habits that produce results inevitably. Then you stay silent while the habits work. The results emerge. And when they emerge, they speak with an authority that your words never could. Let me give you a framework for results-producing habits. I call it the Daily 3. Every day, identify 3 actions that move your goal forward. Not 10, not 5, 3. These actions must be specific, completable, and directly connected to your outcome. Then execute all 3 before you do anything else. The psychology here is precise. 3 is manageable. Your brain doesn't resist it. But 3 actions per day, 7 days per week, that's 21 forward movements every week. 90 per month, over 1,000 per year. This is how silent compounding works. Small, invisible actions that accumulate into undeniable results. Research from the Dominican University of California found that people who wrote down specific actions and executed them daily were 42% more likely to achieve their goals than those who merely set intentions. The writing made it concrete. The daily execution made it habitual. The consistency made it inevitable. The average person sets goals and waits for motivation to strike. They have good days and bad days, good weeks and bad weeks. Their progress is inconsistent, so their results are inconsistent. And inconsistent results don't speak loudly enough to matter. The elite set goals and build daily systems. They show up regardless of motivation. They execute the Daily 3 whether they feel like it or not. Their progress is relentless because their habits are relentless. And relentless progress produces results that silence every critic and answer every doubt. Here's something I want you to understand about results-only living. It requires patience that most people don't have. In a world of instant feedback, waiting for results feels like falling behind. You see others announcing, getting likes, getting attention. You're in the dark, doing the work, with nothing to show yet. That gap is uncomfortable. That gap is where most people break. But that gap is also where the magic happens. The gap between starting and showing is where real transformation occurs. It's where habits solidify. It's where commitment is tested. It's where you prove to yourself that you don't need external validation to persist. Everyone can work when people are watching. The elite work when no one is watching, knowing that the watching will come later when there's something worth seeing. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote about this 2,000 years ago. He said that waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be and simply be one. The results-only philosophy isn't new. It's ancient wisdom that modern distraction has made us forget. Stop arguing for what you could become. Become it. Let the becoming be the argument. Here's your assignment. For the next 30 days, implement the Daily 3. Every morning, write down 3 specific actions that advance your most important goal. Execute all 3 before noon. Tell no one what you're doing. Track your completion privately. At the end of 30 days, look at what you've built. Look at the evidence you've accumulated. That evidence is your voice now. That evidence speaks louder than any announcement ever could. In the final chapter, I'm going to give you the complete 30-day protocol, a day-by-day system for implementing everything you've learned. The dopamine trap, the energy leak, the solitude advantage, the validation addiction, the self-respect architecture, the momentum shield, the silent execution code, and the results-only lifestyle, all integrated into one executable protocol. This is where theory becomes transformation. You've listened this far. Now it's time to become the proof. Work in silence. Let your results make the noise. Chapter 10, the 30-day silence protocol. This is where everything changes. Not tomorrow, not next month, in the next 30 days. You've spent hours understanding the psychology, the neuroscience, and the strategy of winning in silence. You understand the dopamine trap. You know about the energy leak. You've seen how validation addiction hijacks potential and how internal self-respect creates the only foundation that lasts. You have the momentum shield. You have the silent execution code. You have the results-only philosophy. Now you need to live it. The 30-day silence protocol is not a challenge. It's a transformation. 30 days of deliberate practice that will rewire how you pursue goals for the rest of your life. By day 30, you won't just understand silence as a strategy. You'll have become someone who operates in silence by default. That identity shift is the real prize. Let me walk you through the protocol week by week. Week 1 is about establishing the foundation. Days 1 through 7 are dedicated to one task, choosing your goal and protecting it completely. On day 1, you select one meaningful goal, not 3 goals, not 5. 1. This goal should matter enough that achieving it would genuinely change your life. Write it down in a private place. A journal no one sees. A notes app you don't share. This is between you and you. For the remaining 6 days of week 1, your job is absolute silence about this goal. Tell no one. Post nothing. When conversations turn toward future plans, redirect. When friends ask what you're working on, say nothing interesting. This week is about building the muscle of containment. You'll feel the urge to share. That urge is the dopamine trap calling. Notice it. Name it. Don't act on it. During week 1, you also implement the daily 3. Every morning, before checking your phone, before reading emails, write down 3 specific actions that advance your goal. These actions must be completable within the day. Not work on my business. Instead, send 3 outreach emails to potential clients. Not get healthier. Instead, complete a 30-minute workout and prepare tomorrow's meals. Specificity is everything. Vague actions produce vague results. Execute your daily 3 before noon. This is non-negotiable. The morning is when your willpower is highest and your environment is most controllable. By completing your 3 actions early, you guarantee progress regardless of how the rest of the day unfolds. Track completion privately. A simple check mark in your journal. No public accountability apps. No sharing streaks. The tracking is for your evidence bank, not for anyone else's approval. Week 2 introduces the one-person vault. Days 8 through 14 are about selecting and engaging your single accountability partner. Review the criteria carefully. This person must have relevant experience or a proven track record of supporting ambitious goals. They must be willing to check your actions, not praise your intentions. They must be trustworthy with confidential information. On day 8, approach this person privately. Explain that you're working on something important and you'd like them to hold you accountable. Be specific about what that means. You want them to ask one question weekly. Did you complete your daily 3 every day this week? Yes or no? That's it. You don't want encouragement. You don't want advice. You want accountability. Most people won't understand this. The right person will. For the rest of week 2, continue your daily 3 while checking in once with your vault. The check-in should take less than 5 minutes. Report your completion rate. Hear their acknowledgement. End the conversation. No elaboration. No discussion of feelings. No seeking validation disguised as accountability. Action report only. Week 3 deepens the practice. Days 15 through 21 are about stress testing your momentum shield. During this week, you will deliberately encounter situations that previously triggered you to leak. Family dinner where people ask about your plans. Social gatherings where others share their goals. Moments alone when the urge to post something hits hardest. Your job in week 3 is to navigate these situations without breaking silence. When someone asks what you're working on, practice deflection. Nothing worth talking about yet. When others share their goals and expect you to reciprocate, listen without offering. When the urge to announce progress strikes, write in your private journal instead. Get the thoughts out of your head without releasing them into the world. This week will be uncomfortable. You'll feel like you're hiding. You'll feel like you're being antisocial. That discomfort is the old programming resisting the new operating system. Push through it. On the other side is freedom from validation dependency that most people never experience. Week 4 is about compounding and reflection. Days 22 through 30 are where the magic becomes visible. By now, you've accumulated at least 66 daily 3 actions. 66 forward movements that no one knows about. That's not nothing. That's a foundation. That's evidence. During week 4, continue the daily 3 but add a reflection practice. Each evening, spend 5 minutes reviewing your progress. Not emotionally, factually. What did you do? What did it produce? What's different now than 30 days ago? This reflection builds the internal evidence bank that creates unshakable self-respect. You're not hoping you're making progress. You're documenting proof. On day 30, conduct a full audit. Compare where you are to where you started. Calculate your daily 3 completion rate. Review your journal entries. Look at the tangible outcomes. This audit is your results' only revelation to yourself. You're not showing anyone. You're seeing for yourself what silence and consistent action produce. Here's what most people discover on day 30. The progress they made in silence exceeds anything they achieved while announcing. The energy they saved by not explaining funded extra execution. The clarity they gained from solitude sharpened their strategy. The self-respect they built through kept promises created motivation that external validation never could. This is the transformation, not just a goal advanced. An identity shifted. You've become someone who wins in silence. Someone who doesn't need the crowd. Someone whose results speak because their mouth doesn't. Now, let me address what happens after day 30. The protocol is designed to install new defaults. After 30 days of deliberate practice, the behaviors become more automatic. The urge to announce weakens. The addiction to validation loses its grip. The daily 3 becomes how you operate, not something you have to force. But installation requires maintenance. Continue the daily 3. Keep your vault relationship active. Refresh your momentum shield when new doubts try to penetrate. The protocol isn't a one-time event. It's the beginning of a permanent operating system upgrade. Some people will ask why you've become quieter. Some will notice that you share less. Some might even feel threatened by your new containment because it highlights their own leakage. Let them wonder. Let them watch. And when your results become undeniable, let those results be the only explanation you offer. You've reached the end of this audiobook. But this is not a conclusion. This is a commencement. Everything you've learned is worthless without application. Knowledge without action is entertainment. Action without consistency is hobby. Consistent action in silence is how empires are built. The average person will finish this audiobook and feel inspired. They'll think about implementing the protocol. They'll consider finding a vault. They'll imagine what 30 days of silence might produce. And then they'll do nothing. They'll return to announcing. They'll return to leaking. They'll return to the comfortable mediocrity of performing progress instead of producing it. But you're not average. You wouldn't have listened this far if you were. Tomorrow morning, you begin. Day 1. One goal. Total silence. 3 actions before noon. The protocol starts when you decide it starts. No announcement required. No permission needed. Just you, your commitment, and the quiet work that builds everything worth having. The world is loud with people telling you what they're going to do. Be the silence. Be the person who disappears into action and emerges with results that need no explanation. Be the proof that quiet execution beats loud intention every single time. You have everything you need. The strategy is clear. The system is complete. The only question left is whether you'll use it. Work in silence. Let your results make the noise. Starting now.